Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I am Subhalakshmi Raut from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation, India, and we are continuing our UGC NET examination series for environmental science subject. And today's topic is aquatic ecosystems. Previously, we have discussed about the terrestrial ecosystems, concluding with some biomes. So today we are going to discuss about some aquatic ecosystems. And as we know, aquatic ecosystems consist of majority of the planet Earth. It covers about 70% of Earth's area, and as it covers such a large portion of the Earth, it also consists of a variety and a high species diversity, and due to such a high species diversity we see a very complex form of interaction between them and their environment. So um, aquatic ecosystem is divided into three types majorly: marine, estuarine, and freshwater. And under freshwater we find lentic, lotic, and wetlands. So first one is marine ecosystem. About 97.2% of the total water available on Earth is found in oceans, and the marine waters together cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, and they actually represent a very large ecosystem which is much more stable um, in comparison to the freshwater ecosystem. And they are actually characterized by high concentration of salt minerals in solutions, and these minerals are derived from the earth's crust. And minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, boron, all these minerals are found in these marine waters. So the salinity of sea varies with the depths and with latitudes, and on the basis of this salt content, aquatic ecosystems are actually differentiated. And marine ecosystem has a high concentration of salt uh, content, and the ecosystem exhibits definite zonation. We can find different zones in this ecosystem on the basis of its shape and also the penetration of light. On the basis of its shape, we find the continental shelf, which is a gradual sloping region extending from the coastline to about 160 kilometer into the sea. And in the continental shelf we find continental slope and abyssal plain. The continental slope is the angle of descent of the continental shelf when it changes abruptly, becoming a steep slope. So that angle is known as continental slope. And in abyssal plain, this is the horizontal surface which forms on the ocean floor due to the leveling off of the continental slope. And uh, we find littoral zone, benthic zone, and pelagic zone. Littoral zone is the sea floor from the shore to the edge of the continental shelf, and benthic zone is the zone beyond the littoral zone, and Zone is where actually the water fills the ocean basin. It's the bottom layer of ocean. And on the basis of the penetration of light, we can find three types. First one is euphotic or photic zone. This region has sufficient light and we can find active photosynthesis here. And dysphotic zone, it is the region where light gradually decreases with increasing depth, and the light becomes insufficient for photosynthesis. And next one is aphotic zone, where the region of no light, it is said, or there is complete darkness in that area. So photosynthesis is not possible in that area. And the photic zone extends up to 50 meter, dysphotic zone up to 200 meter, and aphotic zone um, extends up beyond 200 meter. Now the next one is estuarine ecosystem. It is the ecosystem where fresh water meets the ocean water or the marine water. It is the area where rivers meet the ocean due to tides, and the degree of mixing depends on the morphology of the basin and the volume of freshwater flow and the amount of tidal inflow. And these ecosystems are not as salty as marine water or ocean water, but they are naturally more than fresh water. And estuaries are the transition zone between river environments and ocean environments, and they are subject to both marine influences and also the riverine influences. And the temperature, water current, or carbon dioxide amount, they all fluctuate uh, on the basis of these environmental conditions of both marine and riverine influences. And the producers which are found in these areas, like phytoplankton, seaweeds, marsh grass, they are all capable of year-round photosynthesis. And the animal community is mainly dominated by uh, bottom fauna of crabs, shellfish, and annelids. Sharks, dolphins, rays are also found here. Now the next one is freshwater ecosystem. These are the inland water ecosystems, and they are differentiated into three types: standing water ecosystems, which is known as lentic ecosystem; running water ecosystem, which is known as lotic water ecosystem; and the third one is wetlands. Now the first one is lentic water ecosystem. These are the freshwater ecosystems which are standing bodies of water, and the main examples are lakes and ponds. And these ecosystems exist across the globe and provide essential resources and habitats for both terrestrial and aquatic organisms. And um, these lakes, ponds, and all other lentic water ecosystems are divided into zones, and they mainly have four zones. First one is littoral zone, next is limnatic zone, third one is profoundal zone, and the last one is benthic zone. The littoral zone is the shallow water region of the pond or lake that is close to the shore with light penetration to the bottom. So it is typically occupied by rooted plants, and limnatic zone is the open surface waters, and they are away from the shore. This is the main photosynthetic body of the pond, and this zone produces oxygen and food that supports the consumers found in this ecosystem. And this zone is actually absent in shallow ponds. And the third one is profoundal zone. Uh, this is the deep zone of the pond, and it is located below the range of effective light penetration, and the lack of light in these areas, in this zone, um, determines the type of biological community that can exist there. So it is solely occupied by heterotrophs. There are no autotrophs found in this zone. And the last one is benthic zone. It is the bottom sediment of the habitat, which is dominated by invertebrate species, and generally the dead organic matter settles down at the lake bottom or the pond bottom, where bacteria and other decomposers, they feed on these dead organisms and break it down into small particles, and the organisms found living in this benthic zone are called benthos. Now the next one is lotic water ecosystem. It is referred to as flowing or running water ecosystem, and these include rivers, creeks, streams, etc. They um, differ from each other in respect to the speed of water flow, and in respect to all the major abiotic and biotic factors that play um, important role in these ecosystems. Now the streams and rivers are structured into two flow regimes, as we have discussed. These lotic water ecosystems differ mainly because of the speed of the water flow. So, on the basis of the speed, there are two types, two flow regimes, that is rapid zone and pool zone. Rapid zone is where the shallow water have a great velocity of water current, and to keep the bottom clear of any silt or other loose materials, providing them with firm substrate. And this zone is occupied largely by um, benthic organisms, which attach firmly to the substrate, and by strong swimmers like darters. And the last one is pool zone. Uh, it is a zone, or this zone has deeper water where the velocity of water current is reduced, and silt and other loose materials tend to settle down to the bottom, providing a soft bottom unfavorable for um the surface benthos. And It is favorable for the burrowing forms like phytoplanktons. And the last one is wetlands. A wetland is a land area that is saturated with water, where the water fluctuates up and down, often seasonally as well as annually, and goes on to take the characteristics of a distinct ecosystem. So, Odom and Barrett actually defined wetland as a pulse stabilized, fluctuating water level ecosystems. It is an ecosystem that arises when uh, there is production of soils uh, due to the anaerobic processes that is carried out in the water, which forces the biota or the plants found there to adapt to the flooding. And the factor that distinguishes the wetlands from other landforms is the vegetation, which supports aquatic plants. Now, there are several types of wetlands that are recognized, like marsh. They are the wetlands with non-woody, emergent herbaceous vegetation like grasses. Um, and next one is swamp. These are the wetlands with emergent woody vegetation like trees. Riparian woodlands. These wetland woods along the river, maybe seasonally they are found. So, and the next one is peatland or mire. These are the wetlands with accumulation of undecomposed plant material like peat. Next one is bog. These are the peatlands with precipitation as the primary input of water, and it is unproductive because there is no source of nutrients other than rainwater, and it is acidic because of the anoxic or without oxygen decomposition takes place there. So it makes the land very acidic. Next one is fen. These are the peatland with a source of groundwater as their primary input of water, and these are more productive than bogs because the nutrient input from the groundwater flow, and they are dominated by sedges, which are the members of family Cyperaceae. And the last one is flooded grasslands or flooded savannas. These are the regions that are regularly flooded and usually seasonally, but some are flooded all year. This is all from me today. Thank you.